Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to a night at the round table here on GHTR, the talk of the nation. So tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects. It's been a long time. It's been, like I said, it's been right around 12 years since we did a night at the round table. I got Chris Allen with me. Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. Great to be back on here.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
A decade and a few. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what it is, right?
That time went fast. I mean, that was like what, back with the Obama era?
Yeah, it was before the second term.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it's been that long.
I mean, think what the world's gone through since Obama was president.
Oh, a whole lot of crap.
We have seen more crazy things in our life. I mean, we thought back before that, some of the life major events was like 9/11 or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think back then, we were actually talking. We had Dave Michaels on with us. We had Ryan Casey was on with us that night. We had, I think it was me, you, Ryan Casey, Dave Michaels, and remember Bill Bohannon, the guy that dropped so many F-bombs and
if back then, if we would have brought somebody on the show that was a futuristic person looking into the global, what do you call that thing? The ball.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're going to have a toilet paper shortage. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that would have.
Buy your crystal ball from some other country.
That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. That's never going to happen.
Buy American-made crystal ball next time. Maybe.
Nothing like that. It's just, it's ludicrous to be honest with you. It's just one of those things that we kind of wake up in the morning and we're going, hey, you know what I mean? We're just kind of doing that.
Well, I mean, think about it. It's like, Robert, and in not too many years in the future, you're going to be in coma.
Yep.
You're going to come out of coma. There's going to be people running naked in the street screaming, he's not my president. There's going to be a toilet paper shortage. There's going to be a pandemic that's going to be worldwide that people are going to go insane and wear face shields. And
well, no matter how you look at it, it's going to be freaking crazy. And the thing about it is if we would have told you that Chris would be doing what he's doing now, you would have never believed it.
No, I never would have thought I'd be a gigolo. Never.
It's getting crazy. I mean, it would be really cool if we could go back in time and tell ourselves this is what's in the future, because man, we'd be rich.
It seems like back then I was celebrating my 30th birthday, and I just had my 30th birthday again.
That kind of glitch in the Matrix, is it?
Hey, Groundhog Day, I guess. I don't know.
I know. For the people who are actually listening to our show, and first off, I'm really happy that you're here. It's been a while since Chris and I we're trying to get everything back together. We're trying to work out the kinks and trying to get everything up and running. But at the same token, a lot's happened in our lives. With everything that's happened in our world since our last show, a lot of the topics that we talked about back then, even I can remember what we were talking about is, Hillary going to be running for president after Obama, and Hillary wanted to start a nuclear war and all these other things that were actually happening. And then
she still wants to do that.
I know. Well, she's still. But maybe
she's just never got over Monica Lewinsky. I don't know.
I know maybe that's true. But going back, let's go back 12 years ago. Let's go back there real quick. Who would have known that Donald Trump would have been the president of the United States?
All I knew back then, he was in a show I didn't like on TV, The Apprentice, back in that era.
Yeah.
I know he helped a lot of people. He always helped a lot of people.
Right.
Never, ever would I have believed he would become 45 and, in my opinion, a dynamite president. I personally loved him as president.
Yep.
But, and I have the right for my opinion on that as well. And then all the crazy things that's happened. And then, I mean, it was almost like a movie that you'd see on TV that's just like the world ended and it came near ending.
Right.
We still might be there.
Well, yeah. And So Donald Trump became president after he beat Hillary, and Hillary was pissed.
I
I'll
was in
never
the
forget.
Philippines when he took office. I was in the Philippines.
Jesus, it was just mind blowing. And then he gets to change the world. Everything's going real good. I'm just like, oh man, everything's so good. Gas prices down. We're energy independent. There's jobs available on all corners. Everything was just running. Our borders were under control. Everything was going good. And then, bam, we hit something. We hit a wall, and this wall not only upset everybody, but there was a pandemic.
On top of that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, how much worse could it get? And then one day, 8 weeks later, I wake up and I was on a journey from hell, and then I had a coma. I had COVID. I got COVID, and it almost took me out. And I woke up I went to sleep with Donald Trump in office and woke up with Joe Biden in office. And then ever since then, the world has turned to shit. I mean,
well, from the world you were in and then coming out and seeing that, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to come out of that right now.
Put me back.
But go back in coma till after we get rid of this terrorist.
Oh my God.
Have you noticed as today, just yesterday, everybody was, oh, he's the greatest, number 46 and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what rock have you been under?
Yeah.
But regardless, and now everybody that was, for him, they're all turning against him.
Yep.
It's just like nobody, if the news outlets can't face it and tell the truth,
they won't do it.
Well, they won't, but thank God that we have people like Musk and other people that are coming out with their, truth social network type of places. And we get to hear the other sides of the story, which we already knew all along anyways. Right. But the world is being suppressed from factuality, and we're being told what they want us to believe. And anytime we try to spread the truth, in fact, today I got a Facebook notification telling me that what I sent on there, what I put on Facebook, was not quite actually true. It was about the Pfizer vaccine.
Oh, yeah, here we go again with that.
Well, I'm not even going to go in it, but I'm just saying Facebook is still, suppressing the people from the facts and the truth, and their fact checkers. I think what they have on Facebook, they have somebody in 4th grade. It's like, Emily, when you finish drinking your milk, would you look at this? Can you read, or do you need me to read it to you? Oh, you could read it. Okay, tell me if this is true or false.
No doubt. Yeah, well, the thing about it is when you watch what has actually happened, and it's like a circus. It's like, remember I told you, I told you, it's right now. It's hard for me to even think. Am I still in a dream, or is this real life? I don't know the difference, and it's because
today you had the bearded lady that used to be on the carnivals. Now she's a news anchor. They're sitting there telling you, the craziest stuff that you could ever imagine. Wow. I seen the other day that they were talking about in the boys' room, which is not called boys' room anymore, putting women things. Tampons in the men's room.
Yep.
I mean, what?
Oh yeah.
Where are you supposed to insert those at? I don't need to ask that question.
Yeah, right up there. Anyway, so the thing about it is here's the other one. Think about it. Go back 12 years. Would we have exactly known, even though the pandemic had happened, everything that had happened, did you ever suspect that there would be kids asking for litter boxes in schools?
No. And I would have invested in toilet paper at the very beginning of it. I would have made myself a trillionaire.
Yeah.
I would have bought Twitter and Facebook.
Or at least put stock into them. I mean, it's just crazy. What's really scary nowadays is our electronic devices. I was actually reading an article the other day, and it was talking about the technology that has came with our phones, and our phones are like totally like so smart. That's why they call them smartphones. But think about this. what would you feel like if you're taking pictures of friends, family, and all of a sudden you see all these little squares, and it's putting a square around their faces, and you don't think nothing of it, not at all, and you take that picture, or you do a video, anything that you do, try to imagine this, that you have no idea, you just think it's something built in the camera, but then you go and you post the picture on Facebook, and everybody who was in that picture, in that little yellow frame, their name will come up and say that they were in that picture.
Or you might have the police knocking on your door saying you have a warrant for your arrest.
Right. Well,
You
yeah,
spoke out against Hillary and we're coming to get you.
yeah. Well, think about that. So let's put that into perspective, really seriously. So even though it goes to your phone, and it recognizes your face and the faces of all your friends, family, and everything, where does that data actually go when it's doing? When it's gone, when it's there, it's all, your phones are transmitting all the time.
Well, I know the answer to that. It goes to Joe Biden's garage, stores in a file on his Corvette, and then it's later brought to China.
He is such a dumbass. I swear to God, that guy is the dumbest of all.
But here they made a giant ordeal about Mar-a-Lago.
Yep.
With Trump, and this happens, and like everybody's already talked about it, they've wore it out. It's like, why would $300 to $1,000 an hour lawyers be going through the paperwork if there wasn't much more to what's about to happen?
Right.
And then here it is, the vice president's all giddy because she knows something's up, and Biden's press secretary is already sitting there spilling the beans, the Madam President. I'm like, no, hell no. Hell no.
No, even if it did happen, it wouldn't last long. She is worse, the dumbass. I mean, she's dumber than what? Well, I don't know. That's a hard one.
That's a hate crime. Be
I know.
Alexa's going to keep you up all night.
Oof, yeah, no doubt. But
Alexa is actually tied into your smartphone.
Yep.
And I actually have the West Virginia version. I have the smart ass phone. And if you don't do exactly what you're supposed to do, try using your Google map. It'll take you the wrong way. Long way.
Well, not only is Alexa listening to us, but our phones are listening to us too. Like, they're listening to our conversation right now. They're actually listening to the conversation if you have the phone turned off. Wow. Try to think about that.
Well, I heard years ago the smart TVs were doing that as well.
Yes. Well, smart TVs have been around for years, but been around long enough where it's listening to you. And what's really weird is you and I could, like, we're having a conversation right now. Think back 12 years. 12 years ago, Aunt Jemima pancakes had Aunt Jemima,
Can you believe they took that out of the grocery stores? I mean,
right. Okay, see, 12 years ago,
but we loved that.
Uncle Ben's rice.
Loved Uncle Ben's rice, my favorite rice.
Now it's just Uncle Ben's. It doesn't have a picture of a colored person in there, and it's just really crazy. So jump ahead again and jump into our system and how we're being bugged. You and I could be having a conversation right now, and let's say we talked about baloney. And baloney. When we hang up on the phone tonight, we go to Facebook. There could be an ad. It's
Oscar Mayer commercial coming up or something. You're always going to see your week. We had a down the road from where I live at. There's a Dairy Winkle type of place that caught on fire and burnt down a few weeks ago, I guess it was. And inside there, he had this giant wiener statue pouring ketchup on its head. Somebody broke in there and stole the wiener.
Oh my God.
The wiener statue. And they were offering $1,000 reward for it. And somebody got ratted out on it. And I guess they raided the place where the wiener's at, but they recovered the wiener. And it's like,
oh, wow.
Nothing at all surprises me today.
No. And think about it this way. Think of what's happening actually with Disney right now.
Oh,
Disney, now they're redoing all these movies. Marvel, I tell you what, Stan Lee would have flipped over in his grave if he would have saw the stuff that they're putting on the Marvel Studios. not only that, Disney is now transgender everything. They basically are catering now. Just here's an example, and there's nothing wrong with it really, but it's the principle behind it.
I don't want something shoved down my children's throat or my throat.
Yep.
You know, if you choose to be transgender or chop off your pecker, whatever you want to do, hey, that's not mine. That's yours. Go chop it off, but don't tell me how to think. Right. And if it offends you how I think, well, it offends me how you're trying to make me think.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to get across, is they're shoving this so far down our throats. It's just like I said before. I have friends that are transgender. They don't sit there. They do not shove it down my throat. They do not do anything of the sort. But what really gets me through this whole thing is now they're making it law to, you know, if you say something, oh my God, I'm triggered. See
what your voice right there that you're doing?
Yeah,
that triggered somebody.
Yep. And they're all,
you know, people just need to get their big boy pants on, or big pronouns or whatever pants on.
Pronouns.
And
oh my
verbs,
God.
And whatever they want to call it. I don't know.
To
me,
whatever it is.
You know, they're going to keep me in jail. Hell, I stay in Facebook jail anyways. Because I should have my own brain, which I'm fairly well educated, and I should be able to think how I think. You know,
well, that ain't
if my dog has something hanging down and it hikes a leg, then that's a male dog, and I don't have no reason to go chop its wiener off. But if I did, you know, it's still a male dog trying to hike its leg. If it's scooting its butt or what, you got a male dog or a female dog. I'm sorry, don't make me try to lie to make you feel better. I mean,
no. You're a male, you're a male. You're a female, you're a female.
That's the way I'm a Christian, and that's how I see it. And people sit there and they get offended if you don't think the way they think. Well, I'm sorry, I've got the right to think the way I want to think.
Right.
And nobody is going to change the way I think. I don't care who you are.
Well, this goes into play about not too long ago, where I was on TikTok and I was watching these videos, and there's this pastor that comes along, and he is he's gay, and he's a pastor, and he's saying, you know, oh, it's okay to be this way. It's, you know, all these different things. Well, I don't know about you, but it's kind of, what did you call it? An abomination.
Abomination, which is worse.
And don't bring God into it to make everybody else feel better. Just like
you know, if he wants to be that way, let him be that way. That's his own choice.
Ben Shapiro had.
I love Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro had a really good thing, and he does all these TikToks, not TikToks, but the TikTok libs throwing down, having a fit and stuff. And one time, he had this one guy on there, and he says, did you know that Jesus was a transgender?
No, he was not.
He had long hair, and he laid with men. If you go in the Bible, you pull out this bit, it says he laid with men, and he slept, and he kissed another man. I'm thinking to myself, you SOB, don't bring God into this. There's no such thing. That is all. And that supposedly Peter was gay, and Simon was also a transgender.
I've been to countries that if you said that about their kings, their gods,
their gods, disciples or whatever.
Disciples, different countries like Muhammad. If you went to their countries and you stood and insulted their principles like that, you probably would not leave the country. So they still have to look at it like this. We are in America. You fought to keep us free.
Yep.
I'm going to do everything in the world I can keep my First and Second Amendments. This is the land of the free. And when these people come in here and they try to take over, try to make me think the way they want me to think, it's not going to work that way. My family's been here since Pocahontas.
Well, it is.
When she was in Congress.
You know, it's crazy. Everything is crazy. That's kind of like why I really was happy when Elon Musk bought out Twitter.
Boy, they're exposing them left and right.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, and it's just it's getting crazy because these people are just going absolute nut crap over everything. It's because they just don't know exactly what to do. And now they're like a bunch of freaking retards, like stabbing each other in the back and saying, well, he did this, well, no, he did that, you know, and all this other
They were all
stuff.
caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah, well, guess what? They're definitely gonna end up in something, you know. I don't know. Someone's texting
It
me.
wasn't that long ago, you know, we had war over putting tax on tea.
Yeah.
You know, and look at the world today. You know, it'd make that look like, you know, like it was nothing compared to what's going on today.
Yeah, well,
with our society today, people
come on, we'll say it.
my phone was ringing.
Oh. Don't be calling me during the show, you peckerhead.
She called right in the middle of the show. What was his name? He was talking about I watched it. I can't remember the man's name. Farrakhan.
Okay.
And I never really liked Farrakhan at first.
All right.
And I heard him talking with a major label news anchor, and he was talking about being part of Africa, which was right around 30 years old.
Correct.
And he was like, you know, that's the most corrupt country on earth, the planet. And he was like, you need to be quiet. And I'm like, how dare him say that?
Oh
but
my
then
God.
But then he started talking. He said, you know, your country's 200 and something years old. And what'd you do to Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the millions you killed for the Native Americans? I'm like, wow, he really does have a point there.
You know, yeah, he does have a point. You know,
we may not see eye to eye, which is great. It kind of shook me to the core when he said that.
right.
And it got me thinking that, you know, the problem with the world today, I was brought up in a world different than your world. We may have had a lot of similarities, but the way I was brought up and the way I think and the way I have been trained from what I hear and what I think may be completely different than 12 billion other people. But the point of that's beautiful because we have to be more compassionate to other people. You know, somebody actually might think that they're a raccoon and they want to go
be a raccoon
and climb a tree or something or whatever. Hey, put a cage in a padded room, whatever you got to do, let it be a raccoon. You know, we have to understand the point of being too far.
Well, that's
true. It's not left or right.
Yep.
It's not necessarily good and evil, which is a lot of that. It's insanity. If you're talking insane things, anything, and what happened to our Andy Griffith, nip it in the butt back in the good old fashioned days, which I'm not saying that was perfect back then because black people didn't have the right chance to vote back then.
No, they didn't.
And I remember back in Atlanta, Georgia, I went into a gas station and they had 3 restrooms. One of them was shut up, you know, closed off into a janitor room, but they had 3 restrooms. I'm like, why would they have 3 restrooms? For the white women, the white men, and the black folk. I'm like,
that's
what?
Right. What? Yeah, and then they didn't split black man, black woman up either.
No, it was just 3 restrooms.
Right.
You know, it's like, so I look at it a little differently than most people. Back then, with Rosa Parks, who, in my opinion, is a hero, we've gone so far. You're free now. You don't have to do all this. Everybody should be treated equally today. And I didn't even think that we had racial stuff. This is how far back I was living in the country. I didn't think that there's any more racism. Hold on. I didn't think there was any more racism until Katrina. I was performing at the Dallas Civic Center and my bodyguard was like, I've never been to the ocean before. And it's like, you know what? Haven't been to Corpus Christi in a while. So after the show, now in our hotel room behind us, there was a big screen TV and this giant hurricane called Katrina was about to hit the United States. So what are 2 guys and a beer equal to? We're at the beach. I don't know how to read beach signs, but all the way to the left and all the way to the right, there were double white flags, meaning I just assumed there's strong riptides. So we didn't go swimming in the ocean, but we did wade out in the ocean. And I did get hit by a shark that day. It punched me in my leg and to see if I was edible, but regardless, thank God I wasn't edible. We went from there to Lake Charles. And that was about the moment that Katrina was hitting. Lake Charles was everything, and I'm not trying to go too far off the story. It's just a little interesting. There were so many giant water bugs walking or on the parking lot of the fuel stop. At every step, you're going to step on 5 or 6 of them. And then I got to Baton Rouge. And when I was in Baton Rouge, it was like half the trees and half the street signs were snapped over where it just happened. And then I got down on Highway 10 going into 13 miles to New Orleans. And I'm in a Jeep. And all of a sudden, water started coming up deeper and deeper to my headlights. I couldn't see how to cross the median to get to the other side to go back. Well, to make a long story short, I'm going to skip a little bit of all that. If you didn't have cash, you didn't get fuel because everything was running. If you had a generator at your gas station that day, your credit cards ran off a phone line. And if your phone lines are down, well, you can't use your credit card.
That's right.
I found $8 and something cents worth of change and money in my billfold in the car. So I got a little bit of gas, but we went to I made it to the Mississippi Welcome Center, and I got to experience racial. And unfortunately, it was I had my camera on because there's a black lady that was trying to get fuel for her car, and she had 3 children, and she watched her husband wash away. And she asked me if I'd go over to that officer and buy her some fuel and water. She gave me a $20 bill and see how much I can get for that, which why would I not? And so I did. And I'm not even going to repeat on the air what I heard that day, but I almost went to jail, and I had it on camera. And I told him, like, you're not the only person licensed to carry a gun here. When he started talking, the things he said to me, he pulled that cigar out of his mouth, kind of like Archie Bunker. And what'd you say to me, boy? About that time, my bodyguard picked me up and he was like 7'8". He picked me up and carried me off. It's like, you can't talk to the people like that down here in the South. It was really just very disturbing to me. And then here it is, many years later, and you're hearing all this it's like they're trying to reopen a can of worms or something. We don't need to go that way and go backwards. Well, the problem, we don't need to go backwards. We're not going to go backwards as to being a caveman and bring back the dinosaur. We need to progress further into this world and be more compassionate with people and more understanding.
Well, that's not that. See, and great story, by the way, but it's so far gone right now. And as a matter of fact, the United States, we are not. It's our United States is got so much diversity that it's changed from the way it used to be years ago, where everybody did their own thing. Yes, there's racist people. Yes, there's bad cops. I mean, we all know that. There's also many things that has changed, and it seems like in the last 8 years that, or maybe longer than that, well, maybe the last 12 years, it has gotten worse and worse, and everybody's becoming aware of how much racist is in the United States and all over the world. And this is why I'm like you. I was like, I don't realize that it was that bad.
I don't think it is. I think they're fueling it. They're trying to divide it.
They're throwing logs on the fire. They're trying to fuel it. And then all along, what's actually going to happen? What's actually going to happen? I can tell you. So they divide everybody. Everybody gets divided. All those years that we worked hard to get everybody to be working with each other. I mean, look at 9/11. Didn't matter if you're black, yellow, green, blue. I don't care. Everybody was treated equal, and we came together as a country. Now, if something like that to happen, they'd be looting, they'd be stealing, they would be breaking in, they'd be killing people, everything left and right. Right now, as a matter of fact, here's something that's really scary. And I want you to think about this. They're figuring in about maybe 5 years, or maybe just over 5 years, that we will no longer have currency like we have now. It's all going to be electronic currency. And in a way that scares me a little bit, because the way that they're going to go about it is it's based on your social standing in the country. Meaning, like, okay, so like say you have people working at a factory. Everybody who's at that factory, it will make the same amount of credit. It's not going to be, hey, I get $8 an hour. It's not going to be like that. Everybody will be equal. You'll have the equal amount of money. You'll work equal amount the hours. There will be no such thing as overtime. There will be no such thing as anything like that. So they will work you. If you, okay, like, let me put it this way to you. If you work 4 hours, you're still going to get paid the same amount. There's nothing that's going to change. You could, so theorists think how that's going to work is everybody will have to work. There won't be any people that won't work, and there's not going to be all this other stuff. Now, let's say you have a mother that is raising their children, you got child support, all these things. Think about it. Think really hard how this is going to affect every single body in there. If they're not,
say everybody will work, like, you know, your great grandmother who's 98
no,
years old.
you know that, you know what I mean. I mean, good joke. So, but what really bothers me through this whole thing, Chris, is the fact that where we're headed in society. Where are we going to be in 10 years from now? I think we're going to be in a lot of hurt 10 years from now. You know, you always say to be positive, and you know what? I agree with you. It's really good to be positive and have a positive attitude about everything. Unfortunately, the way everything is going, you know, it's just like, it's kind of like when we were talking about Elon Musk, you know, buying Twitter. You know, there's rumors that he's getting ready to buy Facebook, which kind of astounds me in a way. I don't know where this guy is getting all the money from to do it, but think about what that's going to do to the media. So everybody thinks already, like I think, all the media outlets is going to be choked out, died. Not the
Who
people.
wants fake news? Who wants fake news?
No,
I mean,
they don't. No one wants it.
We're tired of it. And people are, you know, like Obama's called us all stupid that time. And then Facebook, when I said that, it's like, oh, he didn't mean it like that. You're not telling the truth. Like, serious? I mean, I'm not a little child. You don't need to slap me on the wrist and put me in Facebook jail. I heard it with my own ears. I know what he said. You know, my personal opinion with the United States and giving out money to all these countries, you know, it was going now to Ukraine and now to Africa. And I heard somebody say this the other day, and it made so much sense. Listen, we're in a serious debt ourselves. We can't repay our debt. So how are we able to help all these other countries? I mean, I understand they need help, but we do too. You got to help yourself. You know, there's what's his name? L. Ron Hubbard, Dianetics.
Right.
He has a book talking about inner circles. You have a circle. Your inner circle is yourself. You can't raise your children if you're not healthy. You have to be healthy, take care of yourself. Then your second circle is your immediate loved ones, or whatever you put in these circles around you. And that may be your children, your wife, or whatever. They can't be the center circle, because you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else. It may be the closest circle too. Well, it goes the same with everything. We have to take care of our own. When we've got so many people that are trying so hard to struggle here, and it's like with my wife, you know, I'm trying to get her legally into the United States. Jesus. Legally.
Yeah, no, that's a pain in the ass right there.
No, well, I've learned so many things, and it's all about money. It's all about money. You know, when you could just go across the border and get in and get paid for it. Now, I understand everybody wants a better future, and I don't dog them for that whatsoever. Who doesn't? But you got to be accounted for. I mean, how do we know you're not a terrorist coming across the border, or you're not smuggling in, you know, a kilo of fentanyl or something?
Right.
You know, we have to be accounted for our actions, because no matter where you are in this world, everybody has to be.
Right.
Going to a central intelligence, is it not?
Well, yeah, we just, you just got to keep doing what you're doing, right? And yeah, we did have a technical difficulty just now. We just lost a little bit of Chris's sound. So repeat what you just said, Chris. Don't do that. I tell you, quit doing that. But you know, what you were actually saying is right. Is you know, everything is changing. We're having stuff shoved down our throat. Society is changing. We are changing. Even though you and I don't think we're changing, we're changing. No matter how you look at it, we're changing because our world is changing. It's pushing us to change, and we have no choice. And in comes the dragon, okay? And hear me out. we the people, we have lost total control of our country. We are not in control anymore. Yes, we have taken over the House, but that does not mean we have won the fight. Even though they're stirring the pot, it's still, I think, honestly, I don't think there's anything that's going to happen that's going to make anything better for the years to come. One reason why I say that is because we, the people, have let all this stuff happen. We're allowing this to happen. And, it doesn't say in the Constitution that if we have the right to remove government and replace them with somebody else, but nobody can do that. Nobody wants to do that. And it's just total BS, to be honest with you. I just sometimes wonder, why we are putting up with it and letting it happen. And I can tell you why. It's
Why?
because no one wants to take that chance. Nobody wants to take that chance. Nobody wants to give up their life for our country. Not like, our troops do. They go to fight for our country. But right now, as we breathe on our own soil, nobody is willing to shed blood and fight for this country to win back our
things will change. If you bend a stick too far, eventually that stick will break. It will always break if you bend it too far.
Right.
And when you start doing things and you start implementing laws, I was listening today to a program and they were talking about, I think it was, I don't remember the name of the show, but he was talking about China. And there was a lady in America bragging about how great it was in China because the government would give you your kids back when they come home from school. It's like you get to rent your kids. The government owns your kids. They tell them how much they could weigh, what they could eat, what they could do, when they could sleep, when they could do whatever. And she was bragging about how great it was, while their country would do a lot of sterilization and one child per family. Listen, I understand my mom and dad, when I was not even in this world before my time, they had large families back then. We were vast open land. Now it is definitely overcrowded.
Right.
But who gets to be a god and sit there and say, we're going to mass genocide these people. We're going to allow you to have one child for these people. And no, we're not going to allow you to have children.
Right. Well,
you can't do that.
Yeah, it all goes back to one of the conversations that actually when I got COVID, someone had brought up like this. There's this big conspiracy to eliminate people with this, call it fake or whatever the case may be. And I would have believed that before I got COVID. I would have believed that it's possible that, that doctors and everyone are in on it and to destroy 50% of the population of the world. I would have been in on that. But when I got COVID and I had to learn how to walk all over again, I had to learn how to use my left hand. I had a trach, as most of you probably can see this. I was on dialysis. I almost died. I come so close to death that I'm 100% sure I saw the other side. But I would have never guessed in a million years. But I'm going to tell you something. Me and Chris you and I have bounded heads on this like so many times. I mean, we have clashed with this. And I am still going to forever believe that these doctors fought really hard to save my life. So I find it really hard to say that they could have let me die, and then that would have been true. Maybe they were in on it. But these doctors,
you're in hell, feller.
Oh my God, Jesus freaking! Oh man, I just had a flashback. So anyway, break it up. And the thing about it is looking back, I that was a scary time. That was a scary time. And ever since then, I am freaked out. I mean, honest to God, I will not touch money. Yeah, I will not touch money. I won't touch change. I won't touch it. If I see something on the floor at the house, I get my little grabber, I take it and I put it in a jar, and I don't even touch it.
You know, money is look where the money goes. I mean, from the strippers, where does that where you put that in somebody's crack? From the drug deals, from
oh my God, don't bring
sweaty.
Don't stop.
The money goes everywhere. So no, hold on.
No.
So just to be fair with everybody, I'm going to leave my address on here. I will cleanse all your money for you. I will cleanse every bit of it.
They need to wash it.
It's really bad. It's really that bad. So send me that nasty, dirty money, please.
I told
kindness of my heart, I will help you out.
Yeah, he will too. No guarantee you'll get it back. But anyways,
no.
Yeah, because there's a cost for it, right? But
well, of course,
I remember not long ago, I was at my doctor's office and I was actually talking to my therapist, and she says to me, I go, yeah, I just don't touch money. And she goes, yeah, I can understand. I go, no, you don't. You have no idea. And she goes, really? Well, tell me. And I go, think about this. Think of how many people have touched that dollar bill that you have in your purse. Think about that dollar bill, how many people it's circulated through, where it has been, and the people, like sweaty people, like taking it out. They got sweat on their hands. They got germs. They blew their nose, or whatever the case may be. They didn't blow their nose with the bill, but I'm saying they have all those germs on their hands. And of course,
we didn't have toilet paper for a while either. So I mean,
yeah. I mean, and then not to mention change. Sometimes, they find change in
kind of hard to wipe the change now.
I mean, and the thing of what gets me is that I welcome electronic currency, because it's just like when I walk into someplace, I reach with my coat and I grab the handles, and when I'm pushing the shopping cart, I pull my coat down and I push it. I'm just like, I don't want it. And that was all from what happened to me.
So like AOL used to be, your currency account's going to say you have money, $6.66.
Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy. Try to, listen, do me a favor. Try this one time, Chris. When later tonight, when you're unwinding and stuff, and things are going good for you, and you're just ready to just be totally relaxed, try to put yourself in my perspective of everything that had happened and everything that has happened since.
I thought you were telling me to have gas. Okay, yeah.
No. Yeah, you blow a lot of that. So anyway, you're full of it.
There's no gas shortage here. None.
No, none.
We make our own pipeline.
So, here we are, we're our country is doing so good. And then it takes one pandemic to completely shatter everything that we have done and built for at least the last 60 years. All because of one person.
Yeah, it's all greed for money is where it all originated from. It could have been money. It could have been power. We know that it was created. We know it was man-made. We know that it was released, whether it was an accident or not. Right. Like even Trump said, the China flu. And they were picking on Trump even for saying that. It's like, listen, what about the Spanish flu? What about all these flus that had
it didn't matter. It didn't matter where it originated from. What really freaking mattered is they hated him so bad they were willing to destroy our country for it.
And then look at DeSantis.
Prove me wrong.
He stands up. Look at DeSantis. Now they're picking on him. And look at they're always going to pick on somebody that's going to expose them. It's like, listen, I want the truth. I want to see the facts.
That's right.
If somebody's got an opinion, I want to hear it.
That's right.
I don't want them to be silenced. Like if, for example, with the pandemic or the plandemic, whichever it is, you got doctors, thousands of doctors that are virologists, et cetera, and they see this. You have people doing autopsies. They see this.
Amen.
And they're silenced. They're not allowed to say their research, their proof, they're this or they're that.
Well,
I'm a very intelligent person. I want to hear both sides. And my decision, guess what, is my choice
That's
to
right.
believe it
That's
or
right.
to not believe it.
That's right. That's right. And not only that, it's our choice to decide what we want to do. Now, not long ago, I told you this. Maybe you'll remember. I got my 2 shots. I was in the hospital. Crystal, he knows that I just came out of this. I was scared. I didn't know what happened, so I got the two vaccines.
So they frighten you when you're in the hospital to take
Well,
them.
they just, well, no, you think about it. I just came out of a freaking coma. And so, of course, I am going to do it. But in my mind, I remember the first shot. And in my mind, I'm saying, God, I don't know if I should be doing this. But man, I got COVID. And then here comes the second shot. And
But
bam.
didn't they tell you that if you had it, you couldn't get it again?
Yes, they did. But they said, get it anyway. And I said, okay, whatever. So here's the deal, though. I asked my doctor, and I really feel bad about bringing this up. I don't think maybe I should, but I'm pretty sure that I should bring this up. I asked my doctor one time. I said, "Listen, I want to know." I wrote it out, and we have what's called as my chart. We can literally talk to, text our doctors, write messages, get prescriptions filled, and actually they can do virtual doctor's visits. We didn't have that before. Look what we have now.
Virtual wedding.
Yeah. And so I asked him, or it wasn't him, it was her. I said, here's what I want to know. Do you think that these vaccines safe, and should I get the booster? They didn't answer my question, but what they did say is, by our charts, you're due for a booster. They didn't answer the question, and I understand why they didn't, and it's okay. But that's what made me say, no, I'm not getting a booster. A lot of people are with me because, you know what? We don't know. There's so much on this side. There's so much on this side. We have no idea. We have no idea if it's good or bad. And you and I go about this all the time. And we just had to come to the conclusion that they're saying it's bad. They're saying it's good. They're saying it's bad. Who do you believe?
I talked to a man that owned a bait shop in Florida. Right. In fact, my wife met him with me, and the bait shop's called Master Bait. That's no joke. His father, his brother, and his brother-in-law, all 3 got the vaccine. The brother-in-law just had a physical. All 3 died within a short period of time of that. And they all died from the same thing, blood clots, brain and lung blood clots.
Right.
Different one for each. I don't remember which was which. This man lost his father, his brother, and his brother-in-law right after the vaccine. So you're going to tell him to think the way you want to. Do you think you'll ever convince that man differently? The point is, we should have the right in medical practice to allow, if I want a second opinion, I should go to another doctor for a second opinion, not to be suppressed by the media, not to be suppressed by
the government
narratives, the government. Exactly. And then when you find out that you have, like, the FBI colluding with the left wing, who in the world can you trust anymore?
You can't.
I want to study something. And, I spent almost 7 years in college, not grade school. And I know how to study, and I would like to find out everything I can. And if you go to Google, which is owned by one wing, if you go to all these other branches that are heavily influenced by their opinions, you go to Facebook and you try to read something, and then you're in Facebook jail because you try to share that.
No, my honest to God, I'm just going to come out and say it, and it needs to be said. Even if you did your research, still wouldn't matter. Because, and I'll tell you why it wouldn't matter. It's because even though you do your own research and you might come up with your own theory or solution, Chris, it's not going to matter. Because there's so much good and so much bad that even if you did, are you reading the facts? Because you don't know what the facts are.
I don't have to do that. I went to school long enough to understand, and I studied virology for many years. I knew enough about virology for my own self to understand how it works and what was working with it, what's fake, what's not. So I mean, I didn't need to listen to some other doctor and his opinion and tell me I'm wrong. I mean, it's to me, it's common sense. And what we were talking about before we got on air live today, the whole point of your body, it's kind of like with the earth its own self. The percentage of your body, the percentage of earth is water. You are what you eat. And if you're a healthy person, you eat healthy, you be healthy, you try to stay away from genetically you try to stay away from genetically modified organisms that cause your body to have cancers.
That's true.
That cause your body to have diabetes and many other things. And diabetes is higher now than it's ever been because obesity. And you have the majority of people. Yes. Well, and I'm very proud of you, by the way, and you look amazing for what you have gone through. When I met you, and I'm not trying to go off the subject, but it has something to do with it. When I met you up there in Michigan, I mean, you're like this monstrous, tall guy.
Big.
And big. And now you're wearing the pant size that I wear. I mean,
I'm
very proud of you. You stuck with what you're a trooper. You did what you're supposed to do. And not too many people can be,
well, this is why I'm okay. So this is why I feel like I'm an advocate for this is diabetic. If you're type 2 diabetic, most people don't know they're type 2. And of course they give you all these, if you have this or you have this, you're diabetic, and all these things. And then classification. If you are more than 10 pounds overweight of what your, what do they call it, BMI? If you are 10 pounds over the weight of your BMI, you are considered obese. Okay, I'm like...
BMI? You talking about bowel movement?
I don't know if I said it right. If I didn't, someone correct me. But anyway.
ALC?
No. So it's whatever it is, your secretary will find out. But anyway, so I hate that word. I hate that word, obese. And then if you are 20 pounds over that, you're considered morbidly obese. And I look back and I'm like, oh, damn, and then all of a sudden, here's what happened. One day I was looking through some videos that we did. And there's a video that I did. And I just looked at myself in there and I went, your eyes do not see how you are. Your eyes only see what you want to see. I was overweight. At one time, I weighed I think it was like 380 something pounds at one time. I went on a diet. I quit doing. I lost like 65 pounds. I was down to 300 and I never could break below 300. When I went to the hospital, I lost 100 pounds. I come out of the hospital at 260 something pounds. Of course, I'm going to gain weight back. And that's when I made the conscious decision to get gastric sleeve surgery. And it was the best move I ever made in my life because I feel better. I feel energetic. I sleep better at night, but I still get up at the same time. That hasn't changed. And you do the same thing. But yes, you are right. When I tell people, and I say this to anybody, if I say to you, this is what you need to do, believe me, I know exactly what you need to do. Anybody that's actually right now listening to this, this is the truth. I don't care who you are. And if you say, oh, Jenny Craig has got the best deal and all those diets are bullshit. It's all about how much you eat, and you can lose a shitload of weight if you do exactly what they tell you to do even before you have surgery. And
Well,
what
it's
they're
kind of like
doing is,
Jared at Subway.
yes, well,
I only ate 5 sandwiches a day.
oh my God. And it's only because he regulated what he ate, meaning he would eat a half a sub, and that's why he lost all the weight. Because let me put it this way, we all eat on plates like this big. All right. Everybody does it. We go to a buffet. We fill these plates up so they're stacked up full of food, and it tastes so good we just gorging ourselves. But what you don't see is, okay, so here's something else I learned. You're gorging yourself, and what are you doing when you're eating? You're drinking soda, you're drinking water, you're not allowing that food to set.
All the sugars are really bad.
Yep,
For you.
and your body cannot keep up with the food you're shoving down your throat. So I always tell people this: instead of a plate like this, go to a plate like this. I eat every day about this much in my plate. I eat. Someone asked me that tonight, as a matter of fact, at the Christmas party. They asked me, I know, Christmas party in January.
Yeah, almost February, and you're going to a Christmas party.
Yeah,
something just doesn't sound right here.
Well, it was good. But anyway, someone had asked me that, and they asked me how much food do you actually eat, and I said, well, if I really had to think about it, for every time I eat a meal, okay, I don't eat just 3 meals a day. I eat about 5, maybe 6 meals a day, but I'm only eating roughly about 2¼ cups of food each time I eat. So, like, put it this way: I do take a half a cup of cottage cheese, put it in a bowl, right? And I'll take 4 or 5 pickles, and I'll put it in there, and then I'll take 2 pieces of turkey, deli cut turkey, and I'll put it in there, and that's all I eat. That's good. Or I'll eat a salad that's about on a plate about this big and about yay high. I put dressing on it. I have tomatoes, onions, croutons. I can have anything I want. The other night I had a turkey salad at a restaurant. It's the best turkey salads in the country, I'm telling you. Anyway, so I had that, but I only could eat, like, it come on a big
Turkey
plate
salad.
like this.
Are you talking like chicken salad, but it was turkey salad?
Yeah, it's turkey salad. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good, actually.
It is real good, especially the dressing. But you think, oh God, dang, he's eating a lot of food. No, I'm eating, the portions I'm eating are having time to break down in my body. The rule is, is not to drink 15 minutes before you eat, and not to drink 45 minutes after you eat.
Well, somebody need to tell Nancy Pelosi that.
She's a fucking scrabbagey bitch. But anyway, so I'm just, what gets me is what I've learned about this, and what you were just talking about. We gorge ourselves full of food, and for instance, there are people out there that don't get no exercise. They're confined to an area, and they can't get out, they can't walk and stuff, and so they just eat, and there's no exercise. They go to eat, do their thing, go to sleep, eat, do their thing, go to sleep.
But our kids today, they don't ride. When we were kids, we rode bikes every day.
Right. And it's not healthy to eat 1 meal a day. It's not. And I can back up anything what I'm saying right now. It is not. Even if you were to take, like, for instance, this blows my mind. To this day, I still don't understand. I know what it is. I know it's the protein. That's what they shove down your, more protein, the better. You know how they say, like, watch how you eat eggs? Remember that? They say because of the high cholesterol, right? The cholesterol, if you eat a hard-boiled egg, it's really super high in protein. If you fry an egg, don't fry your egg in grease or butter. Use the, the granola deal or whatever you want to call it, the spray the pan.
Canola.
Canola, thank you. And you put it in the pan and you eat one egg. So every day I eat one egg, flip it over, so there's still a little bit of the runny eggs. I love that. And I have one piece of 12 grain toast with butter. Every single morning I have the same thing. Or every so often I have a bowl of oatmeal, which has protein in it. So, and then I have I have no fat milk, no fat milk with a protein drink that I drink every day.
You should try chicken milk.
Actually, I've been doing almond milk lately.
Chicken milk's better for you.
You're full of shit too. Anyway, so
almond milk. Actually, I like almond milk. I've got it in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
Almond chocolate milk.
There is actually this blows it blows my freaking mind that how much protein. So they tell you not to eat eggs because of the cholesterol, but when you're on a diet, they tell you to eat the eggs because it's high in protein. So I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm losing all this weight, and I'll tell you what, I'll be damned if it's not working. I've lost all this weight, and what you're saying that the United States has more obesity than a lot of other countries, and it's because we are being forced to eat, not having time to eat, working long hours, not being able to eat a real balance. I mean, even if you bring
walk into any Walmart, and what's the first thing you walk into? Pastries, all the junk food, stuff, and all the breads. Listen, bread is good, but I mean, it's also very fattening, and it's not just, it's what the ingredients are that we eat. Gluten, for example. If you went gluten-free, you watch everything you eat. I have a good friend of mine. He and his wife have a nail salon in town,
right? And
they're from Vietnam. And I asked him, how often do you eat rice? And he said 7 times a day. I'm like, serious? How long have you been doing this? My whole life. Little skinny, tiny, but then like my wife. And when I was in the Philippines or Thailand or wherever, I mean, if you look at other cultures, now rice has a lot of starch, which is sugars. It converts to sugars.
Yep.
But if you watch everything and do it in moderate proportions and small amounts, but the problem, like what you said, we gorge yourself.
Yes.
And when you train yourself not to gorge yourself, you don't have to eat so much to what you have acid problems with your stomach. You can't digest it because it wants to regurgitate or what have you.
Acid reflux.
Acid reflux. And what you wash it down with. Our body, as with Earth, is mostly consistent of water. You need very healthy water, and your water sources, where are you getting it from? Your tap full of fluoride and chlorine, the fastest cancer carcinogen known to man, according to Harvard University, January 2013. If you look at watch the movie Tapped, Tapped.
Yep.
And it makes a lot. There's only 1%, according to the movie Tapped. There's only 1% of clean water on Earth. And you could create clean water yourself in several different ways. Reverse osmosis, which is a great way of doing it, or distilling your own water. But if you distill your water, you're taking away all the nutrients, the micronutrients, but you can always replace that. And and a lot of things, which we're talking about having another show on some of these topics. So I'm just kind of skimming the surface. The problem with a lot of people is our intake of nutrients. We don't have enough greens in our diet.
Well, we don't have it. Hold on, you just hit a nail on the head. The greens. We need lots of greens, but what do we do when we eat? We wash it down with a beverage, and we don't give it enough time to break down in our system and give us those nutrients that we're supposed to.
And it may not be organic in the first place, which is bad for you.
Yeah, but there's a lot of places you can't get organic. The only time you're going to really get organic,
do it yourself.
If you grow it yourself. But even then,
wasn't it Fidel Castro at one point had everybody growing foods on their rooftops
Yes,
anywhere they
yes.
can grow. And it took about a year and they pulled out of it. But if we did the same thing here, if everybody, and you don't have to have why would you have to have a permit?
I know.
Even if you had it in your windowsill, that's
We
silly.
talked about that. We talked
Yeah,
about that.
it's
It's like,
insane that you have to have a damn permit, and
or
they may deny your permit.
or they
You know,
yeah, they have to survey your ground to make sure that you have the right soil to grow it, and you have to pay for that, and then they have to inspect your plants to make sure that they don't have the bugs or something that's attracting. Oh my God, seriously?
they might be bringing it and impregnating it into your food in the first place.
Right.
You know, the whole point of everything, if you're eating healthy, there's no reason you shouldn't be healthy, as long as you're doing the things that you should be doing. Everybody needs to be doing exercises. Stay off the video games. Video games are okay, but don't let it replace physical activity. You know, if we all took the time each day and watch other countries how they do that, certain countries, even China, most people will get up, they'll exercise every day, they'll do certain things, they go to work. You know, some people have a full day before they even start their job.
Right. Well,
some people get their exercise just chasing their children around trying to.
Right, and that's why some of these mothers are skinny as hell, but some of them are also have what I call couch butts. I shouldn't have said that, but anyway,
You might.
Here I go again. Remember back when you used to have to say, "No, you're not supposed to say that." I'm sorry out there that I said this, but anyway,
you're not allowed to think by yourself.
I know. I don't have. I have no. What do they call that? No. Anyway, you can't turn me down. I have no. Whatever it is.
But you have an excuse. You have an excuse for it.
Well, one of the things that I did learn is because I have some of the really best nutritionists, I think, and they've actually taken real good care of me, and they gave me some pointers, but I also asked them some questions. And this goes out to a really good close friend of mine. He doesn't get a lot of exercise. He's tied up all day long, and of course he only gets one meal. He only eats one meal. Even if he doesn't eat, sometimes he might not eat for a day or two.
You talking about the guy that's always in handcuffs?
No, but anyway, I asked what can he do so that he's not, this guy is stationary all day long. He's not able to get up, and his job requires him to sit and do this job repetitively and not do much. What can he do? And this is what this person can do. And she said it. Eat lots of greens during the day. Chew on, maybe get yourself some carrots, get yourself some celery, get yourself something, and then eat like tuna fish. They sell tuna fish in little packets and stuff. Eat that. Eat it 4 or 5 times a day, and do not drink. Like I said, don't eat the food, then drink down a bunch of water, because you're just gonna wash that stuff right out of your body. By the 3rd to 4th month, you should start seeing a decline in weight and your ability to focus and all these other things. Because what happens if you're not eating, you're only eating one meal a day, your body is storing up all that fat. And I said, oh, wow. I said, that's kind of what I was doing before I got sick. I was only eating once a day. So everything she's saying is the truth. You have to eat.
Exactly.
You have to eat up to 4 to 5, maybe even 6 small meals a day. But in between eating, you have to let the food go into your body, break down, and digest slowly. That's why they say do not drink anything for 45 minutes after you eat, because what happens, I didn't realize your body breaks down food so fast. I was actually
I always thought you should drink a
surprised.
lot of water.
Yeah, but in between. But I saw a video. She showed me a video. And it's as bad as touching money. It makes me think every time I like spaghetti. You would be surprised if you've seen someone who eats spaghetti. You know how everybody has the big old freaking plates of spaghetti? You know, they everybody does. They get the big old plates and they eat the spaghetti. But when they break it down, it breaks down. They actually have a stomach digesting, and what it looked like a bunch of worms, like breaking down. And it takes a longer time for pastas to break down in your stomach. Now, getting back to your rice. Rice is another one. It takes a long time to break down. So your friend there, Chris, who eats the rice,
Millions, actually,
7 times a day,
5 to 7 times a day. He
and
and his family, and skinny as can be.
right, and that's
But they eat like you said, they eat a little tiny bowl of
not much,
rice.
and they're
little
healthy.
meal. They grow in their yard. I'm so envious. They grow every vegetable. They have so many greens that they grow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And a little tiny piece of property, you know, they do nails all day and they have their garden growing. They go clip all the healthy things out of their garden, and they're very healthy.
Right. And that's
But
why
it's
that's one
a lot of other countries. And the Mediterranean, if you look at the oldest people that grow, like the average lifespan of a male in certain countries, and the Mediterranean diet, people that live around that, they eat a lot of fish, beta carotene, the fish oils that they have in the fish. If you look at the countries that have the oldest lifespans and look at the diets that they're having and how they're eating, you can learn a lot from that.
It blows your socks off, don't it?
Well, like for example, my wife's from the Philippines, and everybody there, most people there ride. They ride bicycles. They do a lot of walking. They don't just sit around all day long like we do.
Play video
and they
games.
Eat a lot. Yeah, I mean, they still do that there. I mean, you can see a kid up on top of a coconut tree trying to get a better reception on a phone. I've actually seen that during Sinulog.
Oh, you told me about that. I remember.
Yes, that. I couldn't believe and he climbed that coconut tree fast.
It wasn't, yeah, but it wasn't just one person. You see it. As a matter of fact, after you told me that, I seen a thing where there's like people in trees all over going. Like
well, you know, when I was in Korea in Seoul, and everybody there was like a machine walking, and everybody was on their phone playing games or texting messages. Nobody looked up. Nobody socialized with each other. The different countries that I have gone to, yeah, I mean, it's like no matter what part of the world you go to, everywhere you go. I mean, and some countries, they'll be on their motorcycle, riding their motorcycle, texting while they're riding their motorcycle, with 5 people on the motorcycle with them, and they're all 5 texting.
Well, you know, anyway, yeah. You know, Chris, I want to thank you for this show tonight, and we hit some really strong topics, and we are going to be having a show soon. We kind of got into this diet thing. I was glad we did, but it just goes to show you that here in our country, we have to work together, and we can beat these. We can beat obesity. We can beat the government. We just have to start taking everything back and treating people equally. Don't turn your back on anybody. Work together. And let's try to get this United States united instead of divided.
That's the name of it, united, not divided states. It's United States. And I want to say something about you are what you eat, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to certain major chain chicken restaurants and the chicken breasts are larger than most women that you know, I'm like, how could you imagine a chicken walking by with double D breast?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
they do pump them. They do pump them full of chemical and stuff to get them to be as big as they are. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, what do they do with the chicken nipples? I mean, do you ever think about that?
I wish I could.
I lay awake at night wondering what do they do with all the chicken nipples. I mean,
you need to be punched in the throat. You know that? I'd have punched you in the throat like this.
Don't tell me you never had a chicken nipple sandwich.
No, never have, never will. But anyway,
you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, I just know. I know. Well, thank you everybody for watching the show. You guys have been great. Chris, you were great, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're tired, and it's just everything was really good. We'll be back. We're going to be doing another show. We have a late night with Rob and Chris coming up soon. But in the meantime, everybody have a good one, and take care of yourselves. Chris, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. It's good seeing you guys. Great being on the show again.
Yeah, so it was fulfilling. I'll say that. All right.
Healthy.
All right, man. We'll see everybody later. Have a good night. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah, bye.